let's talk about it. Shadow work. Now, shadow work has so many aspects, as do all parts of the healing journey. This is my take on what I know about shadow work so far, my experiences with it, and how I am a shadow worker and how I can help you come out of it, or not come out of it, but help you through it. I guess that's coming out of it. But yes, let's get into that. Shadow work is going within, facing your really hard truths, what you've become after periods of trauma, basically. And those moments are when you're in your like very egotistic state and just very out of touch with your soul. All these protective shielding influenced energies all have become your shadow. Now, the whole purpose of like healing and all that isn't to diminish your ego. It's really not that, but you want it to not be the forefront of your thinking anymore. It's nice to have to bring you back down to the like third dimension, because you know we're still living in that, but that's as much as connection as you personally want, I think. But so shadow work is going within and facing your demons. Each time there's a traumatic event that isn't healed properly, there will be a creation of a shadow, because first of all, the traumatic feelings are going to stay within your body if not processed well, so it'll stay, thus creating like very tension filled energy, and that is going to create like a shadow on your soul. I guess that's where that whole shadow work comes from, or shadows. To how to get in touch with yourself and to figure out your shadows, simply you can just start journaling, keeping yourself in reflection mode. That's how you'll bring out like the voices in your head, you know, like you have your intuition and then you have your ego. You really do. That's why you keep going back and forth. You really do have two different mindsets at a place of like in your shadow. A great way is a therapist, for sure, just to allow all that to be brought to the surface. Now, you do not have to remember your traumas point blank and all that for you to be able to process anything. What you're bringing up is the feelings, the story that you're attaching with the feelings, the narrative that you keep carrying with you, because when you carry on the same narrative for years, it might not even be the same, like in terms of like what it might actually would have been, because you're holding a certain viewpoint about it. You're keeping a stagnant energy about it, and it's really taking a toll on yourself. I hope that explanation helped in any way. I'm getting slowly better at learning how to explain things, because I can have like such a great story in my own head, but as soon as it comes out, I'm like so I hope that helped. If any questions, leave a comment. I will try to answer as best as I can to my knowledge. Now I want to talk about my own experience, because that's the best way I know how to share. Okay, there's so much to healing, right? So there's so much to my own story, of course. However, if I'm gonna be honest, what I will remember to share is my last lesson in healing. There's no orderly like step by step on what you need to accomplish. I say last because it was such a big like freeing accomplishment for me that literally brought me to like my truth, myself, my oneness. So the tie was codependency, and it's because I've been dealing with abandonment issues since I was younger. I've had like anxious attachment styles because of that. So I was so out of touch on how to properly maintain a connection, how to fully allow it to grow, how to fully let itself be as it is without me trying to control any parts of it. And and back then I tried to control my relationships. Like if I can give an example, like that 6-year one I had, like I want to I want to say there's good moments, but it sucks for me because the trauma I carry from that, only not like currently, but like if I think back on it, I just think of myself as a horrible person. But I know it wasn't the whole time, but it's a very traumatic time for me, and because of that, that's probably why I can't remember the good, you know. But not because of him, it's just me. But what's it called? I try to control like his feelings. Like whenever I would have like panic attacks, and this is during a time I didn't even know I was anxious. Like I didn't know why I was freaking out the way I was. I didn't know why I had the temper I had, because I genuinely felt like I was a really nice person, and like I wanted to do the best in everything, like, and for everyone type of thing. But then but during my burnt out states, like I just couldn't fucking handle it, so I would lash out. And because he was the only one holding like that space for me, like I would not good. Not good. Like I would say stuff to him, and then I'd be like, why are you being like that? Why are you reacting like that then? Like the fuck? Like that's scary. That's scary. And I can definitely own up to the fact that I was like that. You know, like I threw stuff at him. Like, oh, it was just bad stuff, you know, like. But back then, my codependency was crazy. Like I needed to make sure the people who were in my life were staying there. Like I would bend over backwards to make sure they like were satisfied with me being in their life. I would do this and that, like it was just bad. And if it wasn't in terms of that, it would be more like guilt tripping in a way, like, oh, you leave. I wouldn't per se like, oh, you'd leave me, but I would just I would try to have an influence on making them not leave me. Like, and that is codependency to like the core. Like it's just because like I didn't know if my family loved me growing up. I never got to see it, you know, like I never got to know it. No one expressed it. So I wanted to make sure that the people who were starting to say it to me really made sure that they were gonna be there, you know. So I wasn't trusting the relationship. Like I just wasn't trusting the fact that it is one with my friends or my partners. I just wasn't fully allowing it to be what it was, because I just had to every day make sure we were okay. And it's so exhausting, you know. And then when I moved to the new city and I was finally by myself, that brought me out to my big codependency, because I brought myself finally out of my first big place of hurt, you know. And that was just the whole city, because it's just like where I grew up, you know. So once I did that and isolated myself out here, that was the first step. But the second step was COVID. That was the second isolation. Like every time I brought myself into periods of isolation was when I truly got to know myself, because I had these conversations with myself, because I faced those hard truths. It's not pretty. Fire sign Leo shadow, not pretty. Yo, like I had to deal with the fact that I was really arrogant before, really controlling, really demanding, very temperamental. Like imagine having to like sit with that. It wasn't pretty for me. Because the ways that I lashed out, like I used to want to hurt people with my words, because I was hurting so bad inside. I was like, oh yeah. And it was not pretty. Not pretty. So imagine having to like go through that, and then remember, and then the conversations that would come up that I remember of what I used to say. Like I was like, oh. And it's not pretty. It's not pretty work. And that's why not a lot of people can do it, because to be able to do that is a different type of strength. Like it's not good, but it is good in the long run. It's so worth it, because it's just in that moment. It's just in that moment you feel that intensity, that the guilt, all the negativity that you feel within yourself. That's the shadow. Allow yourself to feel that so you can express it and let it out. Let it out, you know. And when the next day, you'll come out of it literally feeling great. You're like, I fucking released something really big. And for me personally, I was like, now what? What's the next one? Oh, I'm really treating this as a game. Oh, I do want to mention, like, Leo is the sign of ego. Bitch. Like, imagine me going through my shadow self, like the sign of ego and having to do shadow work is a challenge. So any Leos out there going through like a huge spiritual shift, like, I'm sending you strength. Oh my god, oh my god. Every other sign too, for sure, but Leos, I feel you a special way. I'm Leo sun, but I know that doesn't matter. Scorpio moon, if that counts, as well, but let's not get into that. This process is gonna be an ongoing process. I don't ever really see an end to my shadow work, and I don't wait for the day that I'm waiting for my shadow work to end, because life is always constantly evolving, and so should you. You know, like, something that you were like is not gonna serve you maybe a couple years down the road, maybe next year, sure, you know, but don't count on like, I'm gonna stay this way because I like it now. This is how I'm gonna be because I like it now. Allow yourself room to grow always. Like, the more hard life feels for you, it's because you resist the change. Trust. That's why negative people are literally the most stagnant people. They're doing the same things. It's because you are in the same energy. Allow yourself to let that energy flow in all areas of your life, so then you can constantly be in the state of evolving, and it's effortless. After you come into acceptance of, like, so you do have a portion where your shadow work is like, there is a portion of it where it's necessary, a big part where you have to go through healing. Like, you have to do the like codependency stuff for sure, because you are in this life for just you, right? Codependency is relying on a person one way or the other, in feeling powerless or feeling powerful, and that's codependency, because you thrive on one or you need the other. You don't need that in this life. You need yourself. You just need yourself. And once you come to terms with that, allow the shadow, allow it. Now, because I am a shadow worker, I am basically like walking karma. I've actually come to realize this recently after finding out the reason why people can't stay in my life. I'm literally like, I really wanted our relationship to work out, whether it be friends or partners, but what is this that's just not staying for me? And I just couldn't figure it out. Sorry, there's an ant on my bed. So yeah, because I am literally in a very constant state of evolving, like everyday type of thing. And it's not like I'm intentionally trying to be doing this. It's a natural thing at this point. And it's just because I love learning the lessons that I go through. Like, I love learning everything about like life right now. I love unlocking stuff about myself, because like I said, I'm treating this as a game. So I really truly feels like every time I like figure something out about myself, it unlocks like this like next level thing. And I'm psychic as fuck, so like I want to be doing this. I want to be doing this. I get so in touch with the freaking like connection with source and like the universe. It's so cool. Anyways, I'm getting on a tangent, but because the people in my life are not ready to be in a state of evolving, whether it's even as it doesn't, like, the thing is, I will appreciate any type of stage you are at as long as you are in a state of evolving. If you aren't, you're just gonna be left behind. I have to say it like that. It's just because I don't want to be held back. I don't want to be held back. So now I'm in a state of acceptance where I'm okay. If you don't want to grow with me, that's okay with me. That's okay with me now. Before, I used to be a bit hurt about it, you know? I was like, oh, I thought we were doing this together. It's so nice to see you thrive. But at one point you gave up on yourself, and I used to try to motivate people out of that. But it's draining for me. it felt too much, you know. And, you know, at the end of the day, like, I just truly surrounded myself around too many energy vampires, and like, we don't need that right now. So I want to be around people who want to be like growing, because we're gonna do this together. We're gonna light up the world together. So I do send like love to literally everyone who's been in my life. Love and light to everyone. Let's run the shadow. I totally got off track about the codependency thing. I just realized I went on a tangent on like what it is and everything, but I didn't tell my story. So my story about codependency is definitely the last love lessons I was just recently involved in, involving codependency. So to really generalize everything, because I do have a love lesson video. So my relationship, the narcissistic relationship that I was in for a year and a half during my that kickstarted my transformation, that one, I walked into that relationship. I didn't even mention this in the old video, actually. I walked into that relationship literally telling myself before I met him, I don't deserve love. I don't deserve to be in a good relationship. I don't deserve this and that. And that narrative literally sent me someone to teach me how to love myself. Because the reason why I said all that stuff was because when I ended everything with the 6-year relationship, like, I felt really bad, you know, because like I said before, he held such a safe space. There wasn't much to be wrong. There was just so much with me, right? So I felt so bad about it, and I wasn't in a healed state at all. So that's how I talked to myself. I was like, I hate him. And I can't even say that right now. I was like, but and all that. So yeah, that brought me him. And you know, having a narcissistic partner, they're gonna show you how to love yourself. And if they're not, you're gonna stay in a very, very toxic relationship where everything literally will revolve around them, and you don't want that. You're not gonna live your life for you. Oh my gosh, you're not gonna live your life for you. So yeah, when I finally learned how to love myself enough to get out of that, oh, it was really nice, because as soon as literally 3 days after that, I was just like, holy fuck. I energetically feel really good, first of all. And second of all, I literally feel like I just came into my own person again, like, kind of thing. And it was just so wonderful for me. Like, it was great. And then, but because I was in that state where I just missed love so much, like, and I was just craving it, I think my intention brought in a karmic for me. And it was really playful at first, for sure. And then, but for me, because I was just in that state of like, still in a codependency state where I was like, oh, like, it would be really nice if this turned into something, because it feels nice when I see them, like, and all that. And then so I would play fantasies in my head instead, and that was a different type of codependency I didn't experience in a long time, because I was just like, I haven't experienced the love part, right? And honestly, he wasn't giving me love, but he was giving me more attention than my ex was in the past like months, you know. And so I was craving it. I was like, oh, this is nice. So I was like, I'm living for the attention, but it was such inconsistent attention, but I was still down bad for it. Like, I literally was just like, oh, you know, it's good enough. That was bad. I really went through that. That was a couple months of me, just like, couple months of me learning, like, to get out of that. So that was hard in itself, because I was just like, but I feel like I deserve this. No. So I went through like a thing. Let me be real. So I downloaded like Tinder. I had a whole phase about that. But then I literally lost myself, because before my ex, like, that's where my ex and I like met, was on Tinder. And before, like, I was on there for like months, like when I first moved to the city, kind of thing. But then what's it called? during that time when I had it back then, I was so lonely. I was definitely seeking so much external validation. So when I re-downloaded after that guy, I definitely started feeling those things again. So I only had it for like a week, and because I was starting to feel weird, like I was just like, when I wasn't on my phone, I was like, why do I feel like I need to like be on my phone? Why do I want to look on my phone? And then I was like, oh shit, I'm like going through that again. But it was nice to catch myself way sooner, but it's just the fact that I did it. I took shrooms that day too, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm seeking external validation. Fuck, no wonder why I'm feeling off. And every time you feel off, it's because you're not letting yourself like make yourself happy, you know, let yourself process things and just trusting yourself that you'll get through it. So yeah, I went through that, so I deleted it and all that. Then I was like, hey, you know what? Back to doing just me. I'm gonna focus on me. I think I learned codependency for sure, because when things ended with him, I was literally there and I was just like, I was screaming at the universe. I was like, I feel like I didn't deserve that. Like, what the fuck was that? Why did you send me that after that? And I was like, what the fuck? And then kept myself in this like pity party victim mode for like a little bit, and know that every time you put yourself in a victim mode, that's when things just delay for you, because you're just like, why me, meh, meh, and like you just start blaming things. And I've done that. I've done that. That's for me. I'm just like, oh, this is why it's taking longer for me to like. I think my journey is slow. Or not slow, it's not slow, but it's just not where I want it to be, and that's just in my head too. But I'm not trying to like shoot for the stars or anything. It's just I can see where things are going for me. So yeah, anyways, I just like can see my blockages. I really can see my blockages, and when I resist them, I'm just like, oh, I could have just let them go easier, but I just wasn't ready to at the time, you know? So, and that's okay. That's a lesson in itself. And at the end of the day, this is a human experience. Allow yourself grace to feel these things. If you, at the end of the day, you feel like you want to hold on to this a little bit longer, then do it. Like, if it's going to help you process it later on, then do it. But just know that you're doing it to move on from it eventually. Like, know that you're not just like, no, it's staying forever. That's not okay. But if you're like, no, for like a little bit, you're just let yourself be stubborn about it. Yeah, so then after that, I was like, I'm gonna do me, it's fine, whatever. And then this was the most random encounter I've definitely ever experienced, and a part of me just wants to think it's like my twin flame. But anyways, that in itself was the codependency lesson I definitely didn't think I needed to go through. And that's where I'm just like, because when that one came to a conclusion, I was just like, okay, I cried about it, I went through it, but then the narrative definitely switched in my head, because with the one prior, I was telling myself, I was like, I'm not, like, there was still feelings of unworthiness, because I was still attaching unworthiness in people, and I was allowing power, I was giving power to other people based on my own worthiness, you know? And so I told myself, I was like, I'm not ever doing that ever again with anyone, friends, partners, no one, because you shouldn't. You should only make yourself feel worthy. No one should place worth on you, no matter what. If someone can literally leave you so easy, let them. That shows them that you place no worth in their life. It really sucks to hear it. It really sucks even for me to say it. It was hard for me to accept it, you know, because I was just like, man, they made me feel worthy. And I was like, no, they didn't see my worth. I know my worth. So that's what I said when the most recent one left. I was like, hey, I know I'm worthy. I know what I bring to the table. I know how much I love myself. I know how much I can love another. And if you don't value that right now from me, that's okay. That's okay. I'm seriously at that place right now, and it's so nice for me to finally see myself at this place because of how attached I was to people, how crazy attached I was to people, and to where I'm at right now. Oh, I don't even need to talk to people for weeks and I'm okay. Like I prefer not to, you know, and that sounds a little bit lonely, but like, you know, but I could. But I really could. So that's true shadow work. Being able to come into this place through all that hard stuff. Rock bottom is your friend when you're doing shadow work. Oh, it's your fucking friend. So you gotta get comfy down there. You gotta get comfy real down there. And so this leads into my new project on what I want to slowly be able to focus on. I have a website. It is anurak.com. You can book with me. I placed it originally when I had the intent when I made the website. I was gonna do tarot reads with just conversations, but now I am definitely wanting to flip the switch in placing more work on shadow work. There will be tarot readings as well, but honestly, I kind of don't really need that. But I can use it as a divination tool if it helps with both of us. And honestly, I could use it as like a secondary like confirmation as well. But my prices are staying the same on there. Yeah, I think it's like Monday to Friday, 12 to 5 p.m. Eastern time. You can book with me. You can choose between like a half an hour, an hour interval. Either way, on the website, it says what I require for you before you book, because I do require you to like be invested in this. This is not easy for me to allow myself to open up to do in general. So I want for you to at least respect that I have requirements before meeting with me as well. I'm really excited to be able to do this, to be honest. I'm truly excited. This is a brand new thing for me, so I do request patience. I allow, well, I'm gonna deal with it rather than not, because I'm allowing myself patience. So it's gonna be great. It's truly gonna be great. I'm so excited to get on this healing journey with whoever allows it, whoever wants it, because I am very passionate about this. This is literally lighting up my fire. So oh, busy bee. Busy bee. I love being a busy bee. But there's so much to everything, and I have so much to share, and this is just truly the beginning for me. And honestly, with the shadow work right now, I feel like there's so much more to say, but now I also feel like I came to a conclusion on the inside. So if I'm missing anything, leave a comment. If there's enough comments, I can make another video about this or include it just in another time. I appreciate you listening to the end. Love your inner child through all your shadow work, please. You see my blankie? My poi. I love. Oh. But, you know, get in touch with the shadow. It's gonna be beautiful.